Welcome back to Mets Weekly, presented by FlatRate Moving. Many Met fans have their own special way of showing support for their favorite team. Well, artist Joe Petruccio isn't any different. Over the years, Joe has taken to painting his interpretation of Mets games, thus coming up with a unique way to recap each game. This season, he decided to post his paintings on his blog, and other Met fans are taking notice. Check it out. I'm here with Met fan Joe Petruccio, who has some amazing artwork to share with us. Joe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell me about your Met fantastic artwork here.
Every year I try to journal every Met game. I watch every Met game. I try to listen to at least every Met game, but I get every Met game in every year, no matter where I am. So one year I decided to journal a Met season, and I don't have to tell you, as Met fans, they don't always go so well, so I wind up giving up on the journal. But every year, like the Mets, I keep trying. You know, as a kid, I loved Bill Gallo in the Daily News, and I always did sports cartoons and things like that. And then when I got older, I started appreciating art a little bit more, so Leroy Neiman played a big part in my life. So I like painting sports. I was never good at sports. So, you know, my Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron are Bill Gallo and Leroy Neiman.
Do you remember going to games as a kid at
Yes,
Shea?
sure. I do remember going to games as a kid. I remember even making signs and going. I was at a Met game when I was a kid when Willie Mays was celebrating his 42nd birthday. And we made a big sign that said 24 is 42, and we brought it to the game, and Willie signed it for us and everything, so
wow.
It was cool.
So each year you start a new journal.
Yes.
And your cartoons range from the funny to the more somber. And is there any particular drawing that you're really proud of?
There's a painting here I did of El Duque. I just love the black and white in the shape of El Duque. But, you know, I see them more as the message from the game more than the painting. You know, more than I judge my fine artwork on, is it a good painting or a bad painting? I really judge these as, did I get my message across for that game?
Okay, so anyone who knows me knows that I love the Mets, and second to the Mets is Star Wars. This is when Jerry and the umpire got into it.
Yeah.
And so it's entitled The Umpire Strikes Back. We've got Pelf in the sort of Jedi gi kind of outfit, and then we've got the umpire as Darth Vader, and here's Jerry Manuel in the form of R2-D2. It doesn't get any better than that.
With the little white beard. I love that one. I mean, it came right into my head as soon as the game ended. I said, this is what I'm doing. The umpire strikes back.
Now, I hear that you are actually the man responsible for creating the Mets racing stripe. Is that true?
Yes, I am. I am the man responsible for the racing stripe uniform. It's a funny story behind that uniform. When I was in high school as a kid, I used to do drawings of Met uniforms and send my ideas to the Mets office because I used to think, well, you know what, it's the 70s, everybody's changed their uniform, the Astros had that cool uniform, and the Mets just look old and tired in these pinstripes, which now, by the way, I love. And then years later, I worked at an advertising agency on the Mets account, and I was asked if I would take a shot at designing the uniform, not knowing that I was the kid who was sending them uniforms all those years. So I designed a few uniforms, and the one that was selected was the racing stripe uniform. So when they called someone in to take a look at it, they had to approve it. He's looking at the uniform picture, and he keeps looking at it going, this is very weird. I'm having a weird feeling right now. Do I know you? And I says, well, you kind of know me. And he said, how do I know you? I says, well, when I was a kid, I used to send you drawings of uniforms. He said, I can't believe it. I guess you were meant to design the Mets uniform. And that's how they picked that uniform.
Wow, that's a great story. Thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
sharing
you.
your wonderful artwork.
Thanks.
It's really, truly beautiful.
Thank you.
That does it for this episode of the show. Thanks for watching. And be sure to tune in next week when we catch up with former Met and current Cyclones manager Wally Backman.